Oh, I was on mute. My bad, my bad, my bad. Hold on. Let me see something. Let me drop the link. Okay. Let me put the link in the chat in case anybody wants to come up here. Okay. I want to talk about this verdict for this Carmelo Anthony trial. Okay. This is what I want to talk about. Let me check and make sure y'all can hear me. So let's do the thing. Give me a second. Let me check my volume. It don't seem like nobody in the chat right now. Nobody's in the chat, but give me a second. Let's check. Nobody in the chat. All right, we got sound. Let's go. Okay, so let's go over here and make sure I sound well. If I sound good in one place, it should be in the other one. So, what I would like for y'all to do is go ahead and go over to the live with Mrs. Queen Sunkiss channel if you can, and go over there and subscribe, so I don't have to use StreamYard to go live over there and talk about this sort of stuff. Okay, so I have to say that I am very much heartbroken behind this case. Okay, um, did I expect this outcome? A part of me did expect this outcome to be exactly what it is. But hey, but then there is another part of me that did not expect for the blatant railroad to occur the way that it did. Like it was so obvious that it was some railroading going on. And on top of that, the aftermath and sitting around listening to particular groups of black folk, and it's a specific demographic of black folk I'm talking about these black males that are associated with and close to this red pill logic and mentality. And it is so disheartening that no matter how much we can see that there are blatant injustices inside of this justice system of the United States of America, that black people seem to be under the impression that they can do respectability politics and correct black folk for a justice system that refuses to see us as human beings. Okay. Now, what is interesting, I had folks trying to argue me down over my opinion about this situation and how everything unfolded. Now, I understand that once a life is gone, it's gone, and oh, that is so horrible. But I also understand this as a parent and even as a child. When I was growing up, I was told to leave people alone. I was told to mind my own business, and I was told to leave people alone. I was always told to keep my hand off people. There were certain behaviors that were not tolerated. Some people might say, why am I saying that? I am saying that because when it comes to the behavior and the actions of Austin and Hunter Metcalf, if Austin had have minded his own business, if Austin had a wit and got an adult, Austin would still be alive. Okay. And what I find is that people are saying, oh, well, he did not deserve to die. And I agree, he didn't deserve to die. While I was growing up and I was told to leave people alone and keep my hands to myself, there also came some reasoning behind it. And, somebody sat up there and said, you got to teach your children to be wise. The wisdom came in when, the wisdom came in when my people told me, you don't know how a person is going to respond. You don't know, hey, Almanize, you don't know the mindset that a person may have. So you need to leave people alone, okay? And so sitting up here listening to some of these people in the conversations they have had. Now, me, I am somebody that was born and raised in Texas, okay? So I know how the law goes down there. I know what you can and you can't do. And people are just saying all kind of stuff that really just don't make no sense, because when it comes to proving something like murder in the first degree, which is what this child was charged with, if you followed the case as much as you could follow the case, because I do find it quite interesting that the judge locked it down. Now, some people say it was because it was so many minors out there. I don't believe that. With all of the different, yes, please share it out, Knots. And the link is down there if anybody want to come up here and have this discussion with me. Okay. Because I have sat around and listened to people who I vehemently disagree with, okay? And I don't think that trying to police black folk and say, oh, you need to behave better and you need to walk away is going to change the injustice that is happening in the justice system in this damn country. Okay? Not even an hour away, a year ago, around this same time, an hour away from where this incident with Carmelo Anthony and the Metcalf boys happened, okay, there was another incident, and this is a white child that stabbed a Mexican boy. You know what, this child, initially, he did have a first degree murder charge, but you know what the jury decided to give him was criminally negligent homicide, and that came with a 2-year prison sentence. The only reason why that child ended up with 10 years is because they added possession of a deadly weapon as well. The difference between that case and what Carmelo Anthony did, Carmelo Anthony felt like he needed to defend himself in the heat of a moment, okay? This particular child here, this boy, he told us to bring a knife. This boy tried not to fight. He got somebody else to coerce this boy to go into the bathroom to fight him anyway. When this boy whooped his behind in that bathroom, he took out this knife and he intentionally stabbed this boy several times. But somehow, people can look over the fact that, and it's probably because the defense didn't do a good job at putting this information out. But folks can look over the fact that you have a child who has an arm injury that was not presented at the trial because the judge wouldn't allow it. Your child has epilepsy, which was not presented because the judge wouldn't allow it to be presented. In this case, they had a weapon in his bag and told this boy, if you put your hands on me, after he threatened to put his hands on him, and after he did put his hands on him, he stuck him to get out of the way. This boy even tried to chase him. The only reason why he didn't continue to chase him is because by the time he realized he was stuck, he got stuck in his heart. And that's something to be discussed too, because people talk about this as if this child intentionally stuck this other young man in his heart on purpose. And if you looked, well, listen or read what was testified in court, number one, the witnesses all told different stories. But when you look at the different stories and you add up the inconsistencies, there is a picture that's being painted there. And the picture is that we have two kids that decided to bully one kid and all these other kids surrounded to egg it on. And so this boy is surrounded. He is sitting there minding his business. And this boy is threatening him and putting his hands on him. He stuck him and he left. He had a 3.5 inch with knife, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the blade only went in 2 inches. If he wanted to jug him, he'd have stuck that whole knife in him. The problem with his defense is there was no explanation. They just let the prosecution sit up here and run this narrative that he intentionally stuck this boy in his heart, when the actuality is this child was bigger than him, taller than him. He was sitting down, and at the moment that he grabbed him by both sides, that's the moment that he stuck him. So because he was sitting down and that boy leaned in, it's just that's where your chest was at, that's where you got stuck. He didn't intentionally try to kill him. First degree murder was not proved. But what the prosecution did was run this emotional case. They absolutely, because in the court of law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And a lot of things that I just said, a lot of these people did not know because they wasn't closely following this case. They wasn't closely following their family to know any of this because the judge didn't allow a lot of things to go in. Okay. But if you knew these things, you wondered, why is none of this being presented? The prosecution asking the children questions like, was this self-defense? As if they are some type of legal experts. The defense should have objected to that. The defense reported no objections. How you doing, Lana? No objections at all. So the boy didn't get a proper defense, and these people railroaded him in their courtroom. And somehow there is a particular group of black people, specifically black men, that believe respectability politics is going to fix a broken justice system. And it don't make no sense. These folks is sitting up here, oh, you don't have no sympathy for the loss of life. Let me tell you something. I was reared in a particular manner, and I rear my children in a particular manner. I am not one of those parents that justify the wrongs that my children do. My children can tell you that themselves. If they do something and they receive a consequence for it, and they know they're wrong, you got a consequence. That's what happens. That's the type of parent I am. Unfortunately, the consequence for this child bullying another child, he lost his life. Is it unfortunate that that child lost his life? Yes, it is. Am I saying that Carmelo Anthony should have gotten away scot-free? Well, that's a two-pronged answer. First of all, according to letter of the law, the prosecution did not prove a first-degree murder. Therefore, he should have walked. However, if we are to be fair about what actually went on, we know that he was not intending to stab this boy in his heart. And a proper charge would have been criminal negligent homicide or even a manslaughter charge. That's a proper charge. What is also interesting to me, given the things that have been going on, George Zimmerman overcharged, charged for murder when it should have been manslaughter. He walks. The aged man, Mr. Child, down there in South Carolina, that murdered Cyrus Belton by shooting him in his back while he was running away, overcharged. Carmelo Anthony, surrounded by children, being antagonized and bullied, stuck this kid, overcharged, 35 years in the penitentiary. He's not a criminal. He's not a child that been in juvie. He's not a child that had run-ins with the law. What is also interesting and not mentioned in their case, people like to say, oh, well, it was against the rules of the school. The item that he had was not illegal. Therefore, it don't matter what the school had to say. It was lawful. But let's talk about the school, right? The school said, not the school said, the school allowed him to graduate. They did not expel him. When you bring a weapon to sit back and wonder why. Well, As time goes on, people utilize the Information Act to contact the school, and the school has a clear video of the incident. And the court did not want a clear video presented in that trial. The judge wouldn't allow it. This was a railroad. And instead of black folk being focused on the fact that this child was railroaded, black folk want to sit up here and talk about nobody here is sympathy for the child lost their life. I don't have sympathy for no bully. Be you a child or be you an adult, you need to leave people alone and keep your hands to yourself. Because when you bother people and you put your hands on somebody, they have a right to defend themselves, and you don't get to determine how they defend themselves. But guess what? Apparently, the laws only apply to a particular group of people, and they just happen not to be the ones that are deeply melanated. But that ain't the conversation black folk want to have. Black folk not sitting up here, not all. These ones that are associated with this red pill bullshit. Because this red pill relationship nonsense bullshit situation leads to a white supremacist pipeline. Instead of sitting up here having a conversation about how we can better influence these laws and change these things so we not getting railroaded for doing things like protecting ourselves. They want to have conversations about how black people should just behave better. Oh, he shouldn't have had a knife. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Most people carry a damn knife on them. Most boys have a pocket knife on them at any given time. I can't tell you how many times just randomly walking around the earth, I say, hey, you got a knife, and somebody, yeah, I got one, pull it out and hand it to me so I can do whatever it is that I'm trying to do. What are we talking about? If he had a proper defense, they would have offered an explanation for why he even had the knife, but the boy didn't even have a proper defense. How do y'all not see a problem when the person that's supposed to be defending you in the court of law don't do their job? Y'all don't see a problem with that? That's an issue. So not only am I disgusted we have a justice system has railroaded this child, I'm disgusted with the mindset of some of these black folk. Because, baby, I don't give a damn how good you act. Them people gonna always look at you some sort of way. They're gonna provoke. Like, it's really interesting because I know of 2 content creators that was actually down there in the courtroom and outside of the courtroom for this trial. And these women was minding their own business, and they were being terrorized by these folks that was doing little microaggressive shit to try to provoke something. And all these people was trying to do was get the story and report it. But somehow we sitting up here having conversations about, oh, we should just behave better. What are you talking about? Y'all sitting up here having conversations talking about this child, he killed somebody. Like that's what he meant to do that. Like that was his intention. What are you talking about? In what world does it make sense that a child that is the captain of the football team, that is the captain of the basketball team, that has a 3.5 GPA, in what sense, what logical stretch of the imagination does it make sense that this child decided, well, I'm gonna just give up my whole life and go over here and kill somebody I don't even know? It don't even make no sense. But y'all so hell bent on trying to prove that you not racist, you can't even deal with the logic of the situation to understand that this child was railroaded. You can't even sit up here and have enough pride in yourself as a to understand that this child had a right to defend himself. Y'all so hell bent on white acceptance that you will never get. Until you start to stand up against injustice and actually stand in the thick of it, like the people that came before us did, and call a thing, call out an injustice when it happens. I'm sitting up here listening to people sit up here and say stuff like, oh, well, y'all wanted him to walk away. Ain't nobody said he should walk away scot-free or none of that. But he was overcharged, and that's a fact. Let me read the comments real quick. Okay. I'm not going to say race is not a factor. What I will say, we always have to go above and beyond to get the bare minimum. Our young people don't get fair trials. Life just ain't fair for us. So we always have to find a way to survive against all odds. And these are one of those odds. Sometimes we have to take the MLK route to expose situations and not the Malcolm X route, which was taken in this situation. Well, not I gotta disagree. So I've been jumped before, and that's not a easy situation to navigate or be in. Your choices are you commit some type of violence on somebody so you can break free, or you stand there and let them beat the hell out of you. When you standing in the middle of chaos because they surrounded him, and that is part of the things that the defense did not present. That child was sitting there minding his own business in a place that he was invited to. And because they was having a conversation about football, and he was talking about how that football team was bad, one of those other kids went over there to tell the Metcalf boys, along with the other two boys that was with them, that he was talking about their team. They came and surrounded him while Metcalf decided to bully him. There was no way out. Y'all was teenagers at one time. Y'all seen different incidents happen at school when something going on. What the kids do? They surround the people, and they start, right in this day and age, they started taking their phones out and recording and all of this type of stuff. And that's what the boy that was supposed to be his friend did. He sat there and antagonized and act like he was recording, or maybe he did record. We don't even know. He had a choice. He did what he needed to do to make sure he was safe, and he got railroaded for it. We can sit up here and claim the so-called Malcolm X route was Malcolm X route is not bad. One time. We've always taken the MLK route. Just hold your head down and be quiet, baby, and it's gonna be okay. What? While they continuously take our humanity away from us, we think that the best thing that we can do for our children is teach them to cower in the face of folk that don't see you as human no matter what the fuck you do. That's crazy. We need to be having conversations. If we're going to take the Malcolm X route, we need to be having conversations about how we going to get inside of this system so it can bring about some fairness. That's the Malcolm X route. Because Malcolm X said get involved in the politics. That's what Malcolm X said. MLK said be nonviolent. And yeah, we've been nonviolent. What did that get us? That gets us a little bit of comfortability. It don't get us no humanity. It doesn't get us no respect. It don't change the injustices that's going on in this country. I am seriously considering changing my whole work experience and all of that and going to go get into law and politics, because this don't make no sense. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of everybody getting to take our life off the planet, and now we got to have all this sympathy and this sadness when they doing us something. That boy was minding his own business. This says that your black ass don't get to defend yourself and the law don't apply to you. That's the message that this is sending. This prosecutor told the jury to make an example out of him. Make an example out of him for what, babe? This boy wasn't no criminal. This was a successful, young, bright black man with a future ahead of him, and they stripped it from him. Meanwhile, the menace to society, an hour away from him just a year prior, got 10 years. And the 10 years wasn't even, he got 2 years initially. We want to talk about how we need to be better instead of talking about what we can do to make this justice system, what we can do to make America live up to the promises that America claimed it's supposed to be. We got no pride. A lot of us ain't got no pride. A lot of y'all need to go read, understand what living in this country in these circumstances have done to your mind, that you sit up here and feel like the law don't apply to you and you need to go along and get along and tell your children. You look down at that sidewalk when them white folk come around here. This ain't the 50s. This not that. There's not enough outrage about the railroading that happened with this child. It's just not. Things happen to us, and then instead of us putting the anger where it's supposed to be and doing the productive thing, we turn the anger in on ourselves as if we are the perpetrators of the things that is happening to us in this country. Are we serious right now? Not saying I agree, but I do believe bully is a part of life and we have to learn to navigate. Yeah. What do you do with a bully? Typically, the only way you fix a bully is to stand up to the bully. Anybody know any other effective solutions for dealing with a bully? When your child is consistently getting bullied, you go to the school and you contact the administration and you try to get the administration to get the child under control. If the administration is not able to get the child under control, what do you tell your child? You just got to fight them. That's typically how that ends. Because bullies do shit because they can get away with it. And we sit up here and keep telling them, no, just allow them to bully you because, you know, I want you to come home. I don't know what kind of punk ass, coward ass shit is going on with black folk. And I to a certain degree, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Every time you stand up for yourself, it seems like you get knocked down for it. Everybody that's tried to stand up for black folk have gotten taken off this earth for it. So I can understand the level of fear that has been planted and ingrained in us. But I'm gonna tell you something. I was properly reared by my parents, my grandparents, my great uncles, my great aunts, my cousins, my first cousins, my second, all of them. They put some things in me. I didn't come from bang bang shoot them up. I don't know nothing about that shit. I don't know nothing about this hood shit that people keep talking about. I'm sorry, I'm not one of them black people that grew up around that type of shit. All right. Now, the church that I grew up in, that was a service to the community. We did serve in an impoverished environment. I've seen it, but that wasn't part of my actual day-to-day reality. The black bubble that I grew up in, we was taught, mind your business, keep your hands to yourself, go get your education, know how to behave out here in these streets, and don't do nothing that embarrass me, and make sure you wear your home training at all times. That's the environment that I grew up in. I don't know why when y'all get on this internet and start having discussions, all of y'all act like y'all wasn't never taught no home training and all black people got to do better. Baby, where is you growing up at and who is you around? Because that's not my community. What are you talking about? We've been conditioned. Oh, you need to just survive. Y'all not tired of surviving yet? Y'all want to thrive? You not gonna thrive by always being told, just be quiet, keep your head down, move around. That ain't how you thrive, baby. You got to get out here and you got to fight. You got to call out injustice when you see it. You can't sit up here and think that playing respectability politics is going to fix a system that don't even want to see your ass as human. What would make that child think he had the right to come over there and try to make somebody move to the point that he could put his hands on him? Where did that come from? This is a child who, by the way, whooped his daddy ass. Yeah, they ain't talk about that. This is a child that broke his fucking daddy's arm. The same daddy that was whooping on his mama ass. So the violence that he was inflicting on Carmelo Anthony, he probably learned in that house. Don't nobody want to talk about that. We want to tell black folk, now we just got to do better. We tell our kids that this rah. Y'all is sitting up here putting a standard on this child that don't even apply to him. Because you want to sit up here and eat white supremacist narratives as if all these few individuals that's out here playing pistol games and doing degenerate shit is the bulk of the black community. Baby, y'all don't grow up around that shit. Most of y'all don't even know nobody like that. Not up close and personal. Most of y'all come from environments where your folks get up and they go to work and they come home. Most of y'all grow up in environments where you need to do your damn schoolwork. Most of y'all grow up in environments where your parents stress for you to do an extracurricular activity, even if it's an athletic or anything else. That's what most of y'all come from. But you get up here on this internet and have these discussions as if this is not the reality that you live. You get up here and have these discussions like all of y'all came up in the hood and all y'all know is a bunch of so-called nigga shit. What are you doing? I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. This whole situation is unfortunate, but I'm never gonna tell my child you don't have the right to defend yourself. And like, oh, he killed somebody. Okay, and this motherfucker was bullying somebody. So what? So he gets the bully? Then they like, oh, so he bullied, so he deserved to die. I never said that he deserved to die. But again, when you are bothering folk, you don't have no say-so on how they respond. Did your parents teach you that? They'll sit up here and tell me that, yeah, that's what my parents taught me. But that don't matter. Because, oh no, this kid is dead and y'all playing racial games. No, we playing what is logical. What is logical is you put your hands on somebody and unfortunately you lost your life because of it. Sad situation, but that's what the fuck happens. Keep your hands off folk. That's period. Hopefully, he can get an appeal, and hopefully, in the appeal, he'll get a better defense. I don't understand why his parents sat up there and let this man defend this case the way that he did, because, baby, it couldn't have been mine, okay? It couldn't have been mine, because after that first cross, and that man didn't do his job after that first cross, baby, you done got fired in the courtroom. Cause this is my child life you sitting up here playing with. I don't know what kind of faith they had in this man, but that don't make no sense. This man didn't provide this child no defense at all. It was absolutely asinine. And I think Knots asked me, was I able to watch the case? Knots, no, I was not able to watch the case because the judge did not let any cameras or media in the courtroom. This is what's so interesting about this case. I have never seen a case where all the evidence is wrapped up so tight, don't nobody know nothing. What's also interesting is these teenagers got screens in their hands all the time. They keep a screen in their hand. And there is no video footage anywhere. All of that's real interesting to me. What else is real interesting to me is that all the people involved, the judge, the father, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney, all of these people know each other and look like they making deals with each other, and all, like, it's so much that was wrong with this. Meanwhile, you're saying things like this case is not about race, and it's not. It's about being able to defend yourself. But you can't tell me the case is not about race. And he's supposed to have a jury of his peers. Number one, these people way older than him. Them not his peers. Number two, is not a single black person on their jury. Number three, when you put the witnesses on the stand, and they was not white, you sitting up there quantifying them for why they are in that particular area. If you know anything about that particular area, it's a predominantly upper class white area. You quantifying the people that's not white about how they feel and don't they feel privileged to be there and all this kind of weird ass shit. But you want to tell me it's not race, baby? That's a microaggression that comes from race. And you got black folk that don't want to see this type of stuff and want to lay this at our feet while we still continue to fight in a system that is currently trying to strip your damn voting power to the point it might want to take away your right to vote in the next 20 to 30, 40, 50 years. But y'all think that just keep them quiet and run away and that's gonna fix the problem. What? What? Even Dr. King, since people like to bring up Dr. King, they was non-violent. Them people ended up with concussions. Some of them lost their life. They had dogs sick on them. They were sprayed with water hoses and they wasn't harming nobody. What the hell y'all sitting up here talking about? Do you not know your history in the country that you damn live in? And then please, for the love of God, stop running y'all black asses around here sitting up here talking about, well, black people can be racist too. Black people ain't got a stitch of power in this damn country in order to be fucking racist. Stop with the bullshit. Black people couldn't even get on the damn jury to make sure this boy had somewhat of a fair advocacy in this trial. What are you talking about? Black people can be racist. You have to have power to exercise racism. We can be prejudiced. We can't be racist. Baby, we ain't got no power to do that. It's so much we need. We need to do more when it comes to our civic duties. We need to do better about educating our children about the nonsense that we live in. We need to stop taking jobs that make society run and start getting in positions that dictate how society runs. That's what we need. I'm tired of seeing this. Sonia Madsen was minding her business in her own damn house, and that man shot and killed her. And he did. He was one of the ones that actually got prosecuted. Woohoo! Philando Castile sitting in the passenger seat of a car, minding his own black business. They told him to give him his ID. That man reached in his back pocket to get this ID, and they shot that man up in that car in front of his woman and his child. And y'all sitting up here talking about you don't have no remorse or sympathy for that child losing his. I ain't got no sympathy for no fucking bully. I don't care if you black, white, purple, or orange. Leave people the fuck alone. Period. We ain't going for it. Oh, so because he was bullied, he deserved to die. Baby, we not even getting that far. We gonna stop at leave people the fuck alone. Because if you go bothering somebody and something happened to your ass, you deserve everything that you get. Because leave people the hell alone. Keep your damn hands to yourself. How are we not outraged that his defense attorney did not defend him? How he gonna walk away if he's surrounded? That's what I want somebody to tell me. I want somebody to tell me how this child was gonna walk away and he was surrounded. That's what I want to know. Because folk keep saying, oh, he could have just walked away. Oh, he wasn't in no spot. Oh, he didn't fear for his life. If you surrounded and people is hollering and yelling at you and you got one that's actually putting their hands on you, please tell me how he was supposed to get away. Explain it. Not say it's very sad and extremely difficult to deal with. I understand that I don't 100% understand. He said, what? I agree to that. Also, it's a mindfuck brainwash. Yes, that's the only way I've ever seen effective in my experience. Honestly, you right. It's so fucked up. They don't want family to chat. Exactly. I can't believe they trusted a white lawyer. It's always about race in America. High Life with Tashara, it is always about race in America. That white man wouldn't have been defending my child. Not at all. He wouldn't have defended my child. And even if I decided that I wanted to trust him for God knows whatever reason it was, as soon as I seen that first cross and that nonsense that he allowed to fly with no objections, he'd have been fired on the spot. Baby, I got to get somebody else. Because this right here, we not finna do. It's all kind of lies floating around. Oh, he had a plea deal and they didn't take it. What? There was no plea deal. What are you talking about? They knew they was going to railroad this child. That was known and understood. They knew they was going to railroad this child. Oh, they got the money and they bought a car. That's a damn lie. They don't have that money to this day. All the money that the black community sent for this child defense is still sitting in that account because they have not been able to assess it. And it is so disheartening that black people will take any bit of misinformation that make black folk look bad and take it like it is the truth. But when it's time to stand up and call out an injustice, oh no. No, we just so bad. We got to do better. What is wrong with y'all? Not said so. It wasn't a situation where they were making. Let me push bump. Okay. Cause StreamYard be getting on my nerves. All right. So it wasn't a situation where they were making him leave their tent because he wasn't part of the team. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, because people love to lie, spin narratives, and make up stories. First of all, Track is not like football. Track is not like baseball. Track is not like basketball. Track is an individual sport. Okay. So in track, there are a lot of different events going on. And so basically, whatever event that you are in, you make sure that you on the list for your events. You make sure you check in for your event. You make sure you're listening for them to call you for your events over the speaker. When you are not getting ready to participate in your events, you got all this downtime to either watch other events that's going on the field. You got time to go to the concession stands if that's what you want to do. You got time to stretch. You got time to warm up. And oftentimes, because track meets involve several different schools, a lot of times you got students that know students in other schools, and they go hang out with each other in various parts of the field. So when they say, the tent is like the locker room, I'm somebody that ran track as well. So I know this. I'm somebody that watched track meets before I even got on a track team. Okay. So what you cannot do is sit in the middle of a team's stuff, because when you go to a track meet, because it's not necessarily your school, there is no locker room for you to lock your stuff up. So wherever your team is sitting, that's where everybody's stuff is. And what happens is when you bring your little friends from other schools around, they can't sit in the middle of your stuff, because in the event that somebody decide they want to steal something, you don't know who took it. But what you can do is sit on the fringes or the outskirts of where y'all team is sitting at if you want to visit with other people from other schools. And that's what happened in this case. Carmelo and the boy Eddie. That's the boy that was on the stand acting like he didn't know Carmelo Anthony, and the fence put up pictures to prove that he knew him deeper than what he tried to present like he didn't know that guy. So Carmelo and Anthony, because it was raining that day, they was under a tornado watch. Initially, they was in the dugout at the baseball field, because this field that they was in was a sports complex. Okay, it's for the Frisco ISD area. Okay, so they at the sports complex, they was in the dugout. The baseball coach told them that they could no longer be in the dugout. So the boy that he was with invited him back to the tent. When they got to the tent, if you look at any other pictures, where the video is not out, but there are screenshots of where the tent was and where Carmelo was standing at. He's on the outskirts of the tent, which is normal. That's a normal situation. Okay, so he's on the tent. He had a conversation with them. Crazy weather we got today, huh? Not being disrespectful at all. He's sitting there on his phone. At some point, there was a conversation about the basketball team. I mean, not the basketball team, the football team. Even the coach testified to it. The coach had told Austin that he played like trash that season. Part of the conversation that was going on between Carmelo and some of the other students was how bad their football team was that year. Based on the testimony, I can only assume, because his defense did not give him a proper defense, but this is what it sounded like to me. He said this student left from up under the tent and went and got the Metcalf boys and the other boys that was with them. They called them the big boys. When he got him, it was like, oh, he talking about your team or whatever. He come over there and they make all these exchanges to each other, and he tell him he need to get up and leave. And if he don't leave, he gonna put his hands on him and all this other type of shit. Carmelo said, put your hands on me and find out. That's not antagonizing. That's letting you know, if you put your hands on me, I'm going to defend myself. which is why representation is important, which is why a black person should have been on that jury. Because see, black people have a way of speaking that other people seem to act like they do not understand. She said that's a fact. We can be wherever we can fit in if we want, as long as we not hurting it. Exactly. So all this sit up here and hey Mike V, thanks for coming by. And all this, it's like a locker room. That's all that shit is a bunch of bullshit. And anybody that plays sports know better than anybody that ran track know better shit than that. We know better. We know better. I can't, and then you know what's so infuriating? I do not want to think this, but given some of the conversations that I have seen with some of these people, I do not want to think that his parents sold his ass up the river. But even when they came back with the guilty verdict, his mama got up there to speak to the jury to ask for leniency. And the only thing she said was, please be lenient on my child. That's my oldest son. Have mercy on him. That's it. Girl, what? You was sitting in the courtroom for this trash ass defense. That's the best you got for your son? I don't know. It's a lot of stuff that's going wrong with this, but sitting up here trying to police black folk and say black folk need to do better and we just need to be peaceful. And that bitch, please, that's not working. Okay? That's not working. You need to go register to vote. So when they have jury selections, because your ass is registered to vote, your name will come up. You need to learn how to play the game. Because if you think that all them good non-black ass people didn't already have their mind made up before they sat on their jury, but they answered them questions correctly to sit on their jury, something wrong with you. Y'all got to be smart. Y'all act like y'all don't understand the nature of the beast we in. Y'all done understood it enough to fuck up your black ass mind. Y'all done understood it enough to have sympathy for a system that's continuously fucking us over. You can't fix this shit to understand how you need to play the game hard enough so that you can actually thrive and win in this system. I'm trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with you. Are we truly at the point where we done lost our fighting spirit to make this country live up to the promises that it said it was going to be? We really there? We got that place. White supremacy done beat y'all mind up that goddamn bad. Y'all ain't got no more fight in you. White supremacy done beat you that bad. You a coward now. I mean, you know, anybody want to come up here, y'all can definitely come, because I really would like to have the discussion. I really would. Like, I really be wanting to have conversations with people and understand some things, because, you know, I'm tired. I am tired of hitting other people's panels and being ridiculed for the way that I think and all of this shit, when clearly from the way my life is set up, I make decent decisions. And I'm saying stuff And I get laughed at, talked about, all of these things. And it's ridiculous. I literally sat up here and listened to some disrespectful ass nigga. Okay, and I'm not gonna go in on him the way I want to go in on him. I just wish this motherfucker stopped talking to me when he see me on panels. Dude, I don't like you. I don't want to have a conversation with you. I think you're a fucking idiot. I wish you just leave me the fuck alone. Like, don't talk to me. For real, for real. I stopped coming by your channel for a reason. Because I don't like your hoe ass shit. You act like a little bitch. One of the things that was said on one of these panels is that Carmelo was sitting there just as stoic, and that don't work with juries. That's what his defense attorney told him to do. But don't nobody want to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the ill advice that his attorney gave him and the lack of defense that he gave him. And then once again, the onus goes back upon the people that are having the infraction imposed upon them. Because yes, I do feel like his parents should have stood up. But if you the fucking defense attorney, you supposed to defend your clients. But no, the way y'all mind set up, you can't hold these folks accountable. You got to hold black people accountable for the whole enchilada, the whole taco, the whole pizza. You got to put out, like, what's wrong with y'all? What's really wrong with y'all? I just don't understand. You know what's even more interesting to me is I'm willing to bet, and get this, most of the time when this trial going on, number one, I am PST time. So by the time all of this stuff going on, I work at night. I wasn't catching it in real time. I had to go back after the fact and read the transcripts that was put up and listen to the reporting of people that was in the courtroom in order to follow this case, because there were no cameras in there. I did my due diligence. Do you know I had these niggas sitting up here telling me I ain't read nothing, I ain't watch nothing, because they didn't agree with what I was saying. Baby, look, when the Trayvon Martin trial happened, the George Zimmerman trial, I said before it even went to trial that George Zimmerman was gonna walk if they charged that man with murder. I said that. You know why? Because I read the law. I knew he was overcharged. But no, I had black people talking big shit to me, talking to me crazy, and that man walks. You can't be mad because y'all don't read the fucking law. I'm willing to bet all of the panels that I was on, these people ain't even follow the case. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet they don't know any of the details that went on in their courtroom because they haven't followed shit. But you gonna tell me. You can't tell me shit. Because number one, I'm not ashamed of my blackness. Number two, I'm not going to sit up here and act like racism don't exist in this country. Number three, I'm not going to not call a thing to make motherfuckers feel comfortable. Oh, I'm not racist. I'm not willing to do none of that shit. Everybody got to take accountability for everything that they got going on. I'm not finna sit up here and, no, you niggas got to hold up. I'm not doing that. I do my due diligence. I watch these trials. I read the law. Everybody like to bring up Kyle Rittenhouse. The night that video hit the TV and I saw it, I said, oh, that's self-defense. He gonna walk. And he did. You got black folk mad to this day. All up in there. Oh, he shouldn't have had this. He shouldn't have. Baby, when it comes to self-defense, it don't matter what you should or should not have had. If you defended yourself, that don't matter. If you watch enough of these cases, you will know that. I watched them. That's why I can sit here and confidently say that this child was railroaded. And the only thing that gives me any solace or makes me want to feel any better about this is to think that maybe with so much of the motions that maybe the judge did not allow in, maybe his defense decided, you know what, we gonna lose this case, and maybe I'll be able to fight better on an appeal. That's the only thing that's gonna make me feel better. That's the only thing that's giving me solace. I don't think that I'm going to be on any more panels talking about any of this, for the simple fact that I read the transcripts. I listened to the people that was in there. I've read the law. I've seen these cases happen over and over again. I am 10 toes down on what it is that I'm saying. I'm 10 toes down on what I believe. Ain't nobody bold enough to come up here and try to dissuade me otherwise. So I'm going to stand on what it is that I think and what I believe, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to tell y'all, go get your black ass registered to vote. I'm going to tell you, stop disqualifying yourself from being sitting on a jury, especially if the person look like you in this system. Stop it. Stop running around here talking about your vote don't matter. When these elections come up, baby, go all the way down the ballot. Even these judges, a lot of these judges, these are electable seats. Play the game better. Stop sitting up here and telling black people, no, you just need to behave better. Stop it. You say I'm stupid. You sound like you got a colonized mindset. You sound like you ain't learned nothing. You sound like you ain't got no pride about yourself. You sound like you believe you inferior. You sound like you believe that you less than everybody else. You sound like you think that the law should not apply and benefit you. That's what you sound like. And you had somebody say, oh, people like y'all, I don't want y'all in my community. I don't want no Stevens in my community. I don't want no Sambos in my community. I don't want nobody that can't hold everybody accountable in my community. That's 100. You can believe that. I don't want none of that in my community. So the feelings be mutual, because I don't know what's wrong with y'all up here. I am sitting up here looking at a situation in the United States of America that's kind of real. It's a lot right now. It feel like, to me, it feel like it's just this major attack upon black people. It feel like we going back to this situation where we had to fight for our right to be seen as humans. It feels like we going back to before civil rights. That's what it feel like to me. And unfortunately, what it's looking like to me is that we don't have the merit, the courage, the mindset that the folk before us had. It looks to me like we got a whole lot of people that is ready to sit up here and say, oh yes, I'm outside, I do whatever you say. Man, I ain't built for that. My ancestors did not fight, bleed, and die and teach me the things that they taught me for me to get to 2026 and see the work that they did go all the way down the drain and revert. I don't know what the hell is going on with y'all. Y'all need to wake up. And you know, as crazy as this might sound, like what Tateria said, big facts. As crazy as this might sound, woke. Let's talk about woke. Woke was a term that was utilized to describe Black consciousness. Black consciousness was Black people remembering how our spirituality and our lifestyle was once synonymous with each other. Being woke meant that you understood what was happening around you and how you needed to move in order to thrive. That's what woke meant. Now we get to this day and time. And once again, like everything else that we create and we come up with, y'all let these people take it from you and turn it into something else. Now we got people sitting up here talking about woke is some disgusting thing. Like it's just something that is going to crumble society. This shit that they talking about is woke. Ain't had nothing to do with woke. Woke was I lost the word that I was looking for. But it was a description of a conscious Black mind. That's what woke was. Y'all sit up here and let these folks take away from you, bastardize it, turn it back to you, and sell you some bullshit. And instead of y'all actually putting in and picking up the torch that your ancestors passed down to you, y'all sitting up here drinking Jim Crow Kool-Aid. Oh, everything's fine now. It's us. We gotta fix it. Woo. Woo. We need a lot of things. We need Black people that's gonna participate in the politics. We need Black folks that's gonna actively participate in the civics. And as much as I hate to say it, we need Black folk that want to go and study the mind. Because the way some of y'all set up, something is wrong with your mind and how you feel about how the good Lord made you and who the good Lord made you. Sitting up in this racist ass country, it don't warp your mind. You fucked up in the head. And we need people that's gonna build modalities that's gonna help correct that. Because there is no fucking way in your righteous mind you believe that this child being railroaded is going to be fixed by respectability policies. There is no way in your righteous mind, okay? Because if your mind is righteous, baby, ain't no way you going to sit here, oh yeah, he deserved the charge that he got. Ain't no way. Ain't no way in your righteous mind, if you didn't follow this case, that you would sit up here and form these type of opinions if your mind was righteous. So it's a whole lot of things that we need to do as a people in a community. But baby, I tell you, respectability politics ain't one of them. Because what I do know from my black ass experience, most of us come from situations where you better know how to act when you out here in these streets. You better know how to act like somebody taught you something. You better act like you got some home training. Most of us come from that. You better make sure you making them grades. You better not embarrass me in these streets. That's where most of us come from. And y'all sitting up here having conversations like you grew up in the hoodest of hoods. Like you don't know you come from a racist ass country. I don't know if y'all don't know your history. I don't know if somewhere you develop some type of inferiority. But y'all need to get y'all minds right. Because I was reared properly. I also know how to read. And I do that. And I'm not fit to sit here and tell a now black person to hold your head down when you got just as much right as everybody else in this country. And our duty and our job is to make sure this country do what it's supposed to do. And with that, since don't nobody want to come up, I'm a dip. Y'all have a good day.